Okay, so it's night. I don't often video at night, I don't think. I think it's like, it looks like it's light out. I mean, it's still pretty light, but I think it's like 8:30 or 9. I think it's almost 9. I can't see on my thing, but I think it's almost 9. So normally I think normally I'm asleep by now. But I was, man, today has just continued to be like some strange and unusual things. But, yeah, there's a lot of strange and unusual things. Just everything is just, I swear to God, it just gets weirder and weirder. Everything's so disjointed. Like, things are so much more separated to me than like I used to look at it. It's like I used to look at things to try and make it make sense or something. But I don't know, ever since things just stopped going together the way they used to, then it's just like, it's like moments in time. We're just have moments in time. And then if we spend a lot of time focused on the in-between, it's in between. It's like we shouldn't put our energy towards the in-between, but then you learn from doing it because there's lessons in everything. So there's nothing that you can do wrong. Everything is just learning. Everything's just like, oh, that's hot. Oh, that's cold. Like that's everything is just learning. So, but there was like some weird things. Like the day just kept being weird. Like everything I would do, it would be some strange thing or something. And I was just like, oh my God, this is so fucking draining. And, but one thing that I thought is really strange is, so we went to the lake. We ended up going to the lake and it was really fun. And now I want to go back there and go camping. It was at Rimrock Lake in Wenatchee National Forest. As we're pulling into one of it, because it was like fucking way out there, dude. And as we're pulling through, I see this sign, something about the LDS of Yakima. I was like, oh my God, would they have a center out here just right there in the national park, just snatching people as they go by? I was like, what in the holy hell? They just do this shit right out in front of us. But I really want to go back there. I love the vibe. And it was like all Hispanic people. And it was just like the music and the foods, the smells. Oh my God. And it was just really chill. So I really want to go back there and go camping. So we're making this big plan now to go back and go camping. I could have stayed. These other big group, because they always have big groups. This other big group came in, like started asking if they could set up camp next to us. Like they thought we were going to stay too. And like that's how it is. It's just everybody, it's just different vibe. And then they were like asking us to come back next weekend, and we weren't even up there hanging out with them. We were down by the water, as Stella wanted to take her down and spend a lot of time by the water, but she wants to go and meet all the people, and so she wanted to go meet them. And they had a little dog that was off leash, and like nobody says anything. Everybody's just like, everything's so much more chill. And the so Stella went over there, and it was a little dachshund. Dachshunds can be vicious as a motherfucker. And the dachshunds she knows are sweet to her. Well, no, as we went to that farm, they had some dachshunds that were mean as fuck to her. This one attacked her there too. I forgot about that. But here, so Stella's going over and wanting to smell it. And it must have been the overtowering just freaked it out, and so it jumped up and attacked Stella's face, and Stella like was so stunned, she's like stepping back and she falls, she starts rolling, like she falls and like she's totally discombobulated. And I think everybody could see like, oh, poor Stella, she's like a little victim, like everybody's mean to her. Sad. But anyways, we really had fun, and it was a good time, and those people were like wanting us to come back and hang out with them. And then, oh, but the one thing that was really strange, and so one part we were sitting there, I don't know, I'm talking or whatever, and my son-in-law, I was getting, there was chocolate chip cookies, and I was getting chocolate chip cookies, and he must have did something like to scare me or something as a joke, and I didn't see it, I didn't react, I did nothing. I literally did not, it was like completely blank. I keep being like, that is so weird. How can you be sitting there like looking at somebody and talking to somebody and stuff, and then like miss something like that? Like, I don't know, it was weird. And so then I started thinking, I wonder if it's like a different vibration, like if there really is something like you won't see certain vibrations or something. Like, I don't know, it sounds wacky to say that, but that was really, really strange, because my daughter was really surprised. She's like, she didn't even react like she saw anything. I was like, fuck, I didn't see anything, like literally nothing. And they both seemed surprised, and I don't know, I'm always in my own little world and stuff. But if it is about vibration and stuff, and if we see, but you know, I see a lot of horrible things too. I have seen so many fucking dead animals on the side of the road on these drives. Fuck. And it seems like it just goes more and more and more. And I just think, like, even with these big trucks, like how primitive that they keep us, you know, the way we transport things. And I think that is a big part of all these train derailments and stuff. It is like the disclosure of, you know, I mean, this isn't an infrastructure. This is just like, it's like they made the habitat out of hay, you know, like the Three Little Pigs. But they don't care, because they know that they're just gonna, you know, blow it up every 150 years or whatever, when they complete a certain amount of generations or something. Then they're just like, start over. I think it's something to do with getting control or something. Oh, and one of my newer grandsons, so, because now my daughters have blended families, so I have these other kids now who are grandchildren, you know, like siblings to my grandkids. And one of the little boys was coming in talking to me and stuff, and he's usually a gamer, and he does not like to go and socialize much, but I've met up with him a few times, because he was the younger until now they have a baby. But he was coming and hanging out with me a lot at the lake and talking to me and talking about like deep spiritual stuff. And that is what I keep saying. And it wasn't me provoking it or something. And it could be like word on the street. You know, everybody knows, like, if they talk to me, I'm going to talk about weird shit. But it seemed like he was, you know, yearning for that deepness. And that is what I think is the thing with these newer kids, is that they are yearning for something more. Like, we went through this like totally shallow time, you know, and a lot of people enjoyed it, you know. It was a time of learning. It was a time of growth, you know. I mean, what would we have done without the 80s and 90s? Like, I think we're going to look back on that as a very significant time. You know, just like I was saying, like the generations that grew up then. And it's just, I don't know, it really weirds me out all the time, because it's not that big of a distance, especially since they started like having to, you know, close us in somewhere, because once they started deciding to label us into generations, and then they started with the Generation X, there was a huge gap between the boomers and the Generation X. So they started just kind of filling it in as they added on more generation numbers and labels and bullshit. So I just, it weirds me out, because so many of these people who I would think of were like my peer group or something, but then they're a different generation. They're Generation X, and but just the attitude about being outside, like they were forced to be outside. Like, man, we were fucking upset when the streetlights came on. And yeah, like they used to come on in the news and tell people, do you know where your children were? But I knew people back when I was a young mom, and it was like, they still need those commercials, because there's a lot of parents out there who seem to forget they've got kids. And so, I mean, there's a lot of parents who forget, and really it is these states of consciousness. It is like, no wonder there's so many people like losing their grasp on reality, is because they try and hold our grasp in a reality. They make a particular reality and want to hold our grasp into it, and then start getting us to like form pathways. How am I going to get there? When am I going to go there? What am I going to do there? And all of that stuff. Another thing I really noticed, and I thought this was really interesting, because so much has to do with expectation, and it's kind of like setting yourself up to just be disappointed or something. And but so we were driving, and it was it's pretty intense driving. When you're driving somewhere that you've never driven before, it always it's different. It's a different pace. It's a different time. Everything is different. And and it's totally a different drive on your way back. It's so trippy how that goes. But so on the way there, and let me think what I was gonna say. Because on the way there, oh yeah, it was really, really beautiful, but it was a really intense drive. Like, it was like way going out, and like while I'm driving, I'm thinking of all these like, I don't know, like funny things, or snarky things or something like you could say once you got there, because you weren't expecting the drive to be like that. And especially like I live just like a few minutes from a lake, and it's just I got to remember, not every place has a lake right there. And and that has to do with them fucking controlling the water and putting in dams so they can control the water, so they can control the movements. All about them and controlling everything, resources, everything. But so when we were driving, let me think again now what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, so I was thinking of like these little things to say, and then I would get like I said, like it will play out like more things, like it will give me more perspective. And so the things I would say, it was like giving me a clearer view of myself, like how I would be perceived, how I would be seen if that were my attitude. Because someone would take that as me, as my attitude. They would take that as that, that becomes who I am to that person. And so it was really making me think about like, what do you want to be? Who do you want to be to people? Like, and, just thinking about that kind of thing. And, I can't remember every single, like, through the things. I'm telling you, I swear to God, I feel like I'm constantly in some sort of, like, I don't know, some of the parts of the spiritual journey are definitely, like, you feel like you're in a class. Like, your higher self, your guides, or whatever, are telling you, explaining things to you, showing you things, whatever. So I don't remember all the things they were saying, but it was getting me to this whole thing of just, appreciation, and just being like, the joy of the experience, and being positive and putting that energy out, and appreciation of, people spending time with you, and, the whole experience. Like, we're all out there, like on the water, sitting there, and it was like everybody was looking out and across, the mountains, and it's really pretty. And I was like, You know, I don't see how anyone could be depressed if they came out here and saw this. You know, it's the majesty. It's like a majestic world that we live in. It's so magical. And it's just like people forget. They get so caught up in the BS that they forget about how special life is and how exciting and, you know, what a gift it is. And so, you know, I think people who are depressed need to get out in the beauty of nature and remember, like, you know, look around and see how big, and you're a part of this. You're a part of this magic. You know, no matter if you're a fucking insect to this place, you're a part of it. You know, insects play a big role to us. Like, ugh, just the emotions and stuff. You give spiders or pests, any kind of, you know, insect. Like, we give them a lot of energy and stuff. So, it's just weird, the things, like, when you really think about stuff. Like, the boy was playing with this giant rock. He was getting this giant rock, and he was rolling it up towards the shore, and then he found a big crack in it, and then he was trying to split it in half. And so I was like narrating and stuff and talking to him, and you know, like, you know, that rock has probably never been touched by another boy. Like, and what if another boy doesn't touch that rock for 1,000 years? And then a boy comes and touches that rock. What if it was the same boy from a different life came back and touched that rock? And the energy and stuff. Like, it's just so interesting because, you know, when you stop and you think about all of those things. And, you know, I had heard before about just, like, you know, going and getting milk from a place, and the person who put it away, and they're in a really bad mood. Maybe they, you know, beat their wife last night or something, and they're not happy. Maybe they're feeling like they just want to do themselves in. And they are doing their job, you know, loading the milk, sodas, whatever, into the counters, into the refrigerators at the store. And everything they touch picks up on that energy. And then you pick it up, and that energy rubs off on you. That is that energy, like what I'm talking about when I talk about, like, the free energy. It's not just free energy, because the free energy is, I'm talking about the dark energy, the energy that it feeds your anger, it feeds your frustration, it feeds your doubt. It's like those kind of things that attach, that dark kind of energy. It's like it can come in all kinds of sizes, you know. But anyways, it is important to be aware of where you're putting your energy, you know, how you're directing it and how you're feeling. And so, like, when I was driving and I was thinking about that, and I was just thinking about, you know, I wanted to just you know, be happy. And, you know, they pulled over a couple times because they were on this other part of the lake that they weren't familiar with. And we kept getting in weird spots and stuff. And so we'd have to turn around, and they were getting worried, you know, that I was going to get frustrated or something, I think, or get mad, or think they didn't know where they were going or whatever, you know, like, I don't know inside of them how they were feeling. But, you know, they were being like, you know, well, it'll just be a few more minutes, we'll find it, and stuff like that. And it's like, oh, I'm fine. I'm not sitting here listening to my music, I'm fine. And so, you know, it didn't bother me at all. And then once we got there, just like talking about how beautiful it was and how great it was to spend time with them. And, you know, I think that we all need to get more into that, just appreciation of life and time, and, you know, and not being frustrated over things that just don't matter. And opinions and stuff don't matter. Opinions change when perspective and when situations change, when people experience things for themselves, it changes their opinions. So it's not like, you know, we need to change someone's opinions ever. We just need to allow everybody to have their opinions and see things the way they want to see things, and learn from how other people see things. You know, it can expand your mind. Or you can keep your mind closed and just stay focused, in your own little mind trap, only wanting to see things the way you see them, wanting everybody to, bend over for you so that, you don't ever have to feel stress or whatever, and then is that somebody who's growing, or is that somebody who's just growing into a bully, into somebody who is, for one thing, dependent on other people emotionally? And that right there is the vampire energy, is the same parasitic kind of energy, is the same dependency on this system, where we have so many people who are very dependent on the system, and they're all gonna end up kicking their own selves, because they're going to be mad at that part of themselves, that dependent part. But it's a process for each person to get to see that side of themselves, so that they can question it and begin to heal it and figure out, like, why, whatever got them to have doubt, to stop believing in themselves, to start turning in, like you needed somebody else to say you're okay, to feel okay. Like, that's what we have to get down to, like the nuts and bolts of it, and then seeing what's going on with kids and stuff, and seeing how important it is. And no matter what people think, because they've got everything so clouded up with religion, that kids, we're spiritual beings. We're spiritual beings here to have a human experience, and it needs to be acknowledged. To be in denial of it, it causes people depression, and to not feel they have a purpose, to not understand anything about, what they're doing here, what does it all mean, and, why does this happen, and all of that stuff. And, and also with the changing your attitude, and just really looking at all of the beauty and stuff all the time. That right there changes your, like, dopamine and stuff. That changes your energy. That changes the direction of your output, when you are looking at everything as being positive and stuff. Even when things, like all these weird stuff kept happening, it's just weird. And but then I had some really good stuff. So, it's been like a day of just weird things. I don't really know, but Stella had her mattress little thing that she would, when we would go, I would put it in the back of the bed or the car, and then I would take it in places, and so she would have a bed to sleep on. And so it was just getting really disgusting. And then that dog, when she was puking this morning, she puked all over it. Oh my God, the smell. Oh. And then there was no way that thing would fit in the washing machine. So I decided to throw it away, and there was a Goodwill just like 5 minutes from here. So I zipped down there, and I put the intention out there. Like, I wasn't setting an expectation. I said, I don't know what. I said, you guys know what would work best. You guys just make it clear to me, show me so I know, and that's what I'll get. And so I was looking through over by, like, the comforters and stuff. I was looking for, like, another, like, mattress. What are those things called? Like, not mattress, puffer, a mattress pad kind of thing. And so I was looking, through the sheets and stuff like that. And then there was this one, it was on a totally different hanger than the rest. It was a totally different weight. And when I saw that little sign thing that said Kirkland, then I knew that was the one. And so it's like a blanket, but it's not like a blanket for a bed. It's like I don't know. I think it's like a dog blanket, but the Kirkland dog beds have this, like, certain fabric, and then they have on the other side this fuzzy stuff. So this blanket is like that, has that top part, and the bottom part just doesn't have the filler part. and then, but you can fold it over. And so it's like perfect, and it fits in a washer. And so I can fold it over so she has a bed in here, but then I can unfold it and put it in the back of the car so it gives her some cushion. And I think it's even going to be better because I think the other one was, because it was a bed topper thing, I think it was kind of harder for her because it was too cushiony. Because there was two bed toppers and trying to do orthopedic, But anyways, now I just feel like it was like the perfect thing. And it fits in a washer. It can be washed, so even if somebody pukes on it or, whatever happens to it. And so I feel like, oh my gosh, it was $6.99. And that was another thing too, after I talk all smack on the Goodwill. Then I go down to this one and everything was fucking cheap at this one. They even had dresses, buy one, get one free. And I mean, buy one, get one 50% off, buy one, get one free. Jeez, I wouldn't have any left probably. Buy one, get one 50% off. But the dresses were way cheaper. Like a lot of Goodwills, their dresses are $15, $18, and these were still $6.99. So and right when I was walking in, they had this one that was just hanging, like somebody had pulled it out to look at it and left it hanging. So like right as I'm walking in the door, it's like facing me, like calling out to me. Every time that has happened to me in that thrift store, it has been an exact thing that like is a perfect fit. It's crazy. And so I got a couple of the dresses on the buy one get one free, and but I got her a dog bed, so I was really happy about that. But then I felt like, see, I can't be judgmental talking smack on the Goodwill, because then here's a good one. This is a good Goodwill. It's cheaper than the other thrift store we went to the other day. Went to another one and it was totally jacked up on the prices too. It just blows my mind, these places. You get this stuff in donation. Everything is given to you for free. All you got to do is have somebody back there to market, price it, or whatever. And every bit of the money that you're getting from this stuff is free. I mean, it's such a strange business for them to just start jacking prices up on people that are buying used things. It's the strangest thing. And that to me is just, greed. It just, when people just keep thinking, what can they get? What can they get? And not thinking about what is best for everybody, what is best, for the world. Do we want a world where we're all just completely sitting there just consumed with what's best for me, what's best for me, what's best for me? Like, what a horrible place to be, where nobody cares about anybody else. Like, it's like everybody doesn't have to bend over backwards, to make somebody happy or to make them satisfied in life. People have to learn how to find satisfaction for themselves. It's an attitude. It's just how you look at things. You can look at things as being, graceful, or you can look at things as being discord. It's all in how you see it. And it takes a different kind of balance when you can look at for the good things and the joy and the I don't know, because it's not always just lessons. I mean, but there is one, but that is kind of like just mind expanding, like when you're driving and you're just thinking of all the different things like you could say, and then how would that would be taken, how would that be taken, and then to just get to the point of like just being positive. Like there's nothing more that we need to do. Like, what do we all want? What gets us down is when somebody comes up and talks some kind of bullshit, and like, so why do we want to put that out into the world? Because everybody feels the same way as us. Everybody feels like shit when somebody does that. So we've got to just, if we want to have a better world, We have to be more mindful of the way we act and how we treat others, and to be appreciative. When people, take time to spend time with you and stuff, I think it's important to, remember time is, well, it's always been a part of the lessons. Like, it's something that is a big part of lessons right now. That's a big reason why there's so much people dying, is there's so much learning. You learn so much about the significance and the appreciation of life by the loss of it. So, there's a lot of that, but still, we're moving into this time where it's not going to be that about death. But when I was seeing all of those animals and stuff being hit, and thinking about like how they keep us in this primitive way, and it's like they're killing everything. Like, it's not just us. Why we sit here and oh, they're killing us, like, but they're killing everything. They just don't have any respect for nature or anything else. And then also when we were going out to this Wenatchee National Park, I was like, man, like, you get out here and you see some of these places that are just so outrageously beautiful, and then it is, and the government's buying it all up, and then they control the water flow. Like, I don't know. Just being out there and then seeing all of these like indigenous people and their tents and all on this water, and just out there enjoying life and stuff. And it's just like, that's what life's all about. And they want to buy up all these lands. They're even, trying to override people's rights and take access to their land, to get access to rivers and waterways and all sorts of shit right now. Because everything they're doing, against human rights. But it's just so crazy when you really put it into the perspective of they're buying all the land. All the, the sellout billionaires like, Gator and some of the other creepazoids that are buying up all of that land. So it really will be like we would own nothing. And just think about that too. Like, once they destroy everybody's homes and stuff, then, they could charge us whatever they want. Like, and then what will we do? Because they own everything. We have to realize they can't own it. We have to pull, the God card. You have to put it in perspective as like, God owns the motherfucking planet, not you motherfuckers. You didn't make any deals with y'all. This isn't your planet to sell. This isn't your planet to own. This isn't your planet to control. So, fuck off. But, we're in this process of it. Oh, yeah, and that was one thing, too. I forgot about that. Is my son-in-law said something about the Anunnaki and the giants and stuff. Like, I think a lot of people are, thinking that there's going to be... Because he started saying, too, about the firmament. And I didn't know he even, but, a lot of people are waking up to more and more and more and more. That's why I was saying the other day, is like, if you are in arguments and stuff with people in your family, you're missing out on, like, Christmas morning now as people are waking up. So just, it's your stuff that you need to get over. It's your stuff that you need to see why you are getting upset and stuff. Just keep putting in to the realization that this whole process, no matter how many of these, chosens and whatever that want to get out there and say that, these other people aren't going to wake up, but, they don't understand apparently what's really going on. So, all these people will be waking up. Well, I think most of the people will wake up through whatever is going to happen, whatever this event. But I don't think the first the first thing that's going to happen is going to be the dramatic thing with the space and the firmament and all that stuff. I think that we have to kind of go into that. I think the first thing's going to be about the money and government. Like, all that has to go down. Like, and my kids keep saying, you know, school's about to start, because I kept saying, school's not going to be coming back. I can't even believe if school gets all the way back. I don't know. I mean, because they could even prolong it. They could come up with a sickness. Like, when we just were coming back from, like, another thing I went and did that I say I would never do. I drove through McDonald's and got Stella some cheeseburgers. So, when I was, what was I going to say about that? Because went through the McDonald's and got the cheeseburgers. Went against one of my other. You just can't set your. You gotta set your, like, your rules for yourself, but they can't just be like stringent. They gotta be breakable. You can't just be like hold yourself. I don't know. Like, there's hold yourself to certain standards, but there's also, you know, don't set so many rules on yourself. Like, I'm not gonna, you know. I mean, she's had the McDonald's burgers before. I don't know what the fuck she's eating, but it sure makes her super excited. Boy, she got so excited when we went through that fucking line. But what was it? The other thing I was gonna say, it was something else. I'm really tired. It's easier to do it in the morning, but it is harder to do it with so many people around, because all the things are always distracting. But there is just oh yeah, because the people who were sitting there saying, oh, these people aren't going to wake up, like, that, I think that they don't understand. Oh yeah, because of the government going down. Oh yeah, in the schools. So oh yeah, okay. Yeah, so when I drove through the corporation, corporate food place, which is so fucking, it's so conveyor belt to go through there. I can believe it. You have this line and this line, and then you go through. They've got like 4 windows now. Move up to this window, move up to this window. And it's like, oh my God. A fella goes on a goddamn conveyor belt getting their fucking artificial food. But someone's coming to the window. And it's like, you know, whereas for one thing, corporation, they can tell you, you have to wear those or whatever. But that can be another thing they could pull out. But there's some schools that are going to be starting like real quick. So, I don't know. If I had a kid in school, there's no fucking way I'd be depending on the school being, as I think it's shown this past 2 years, that it is falling apart, that it's not here for the long term. It's here for the breakdown, and it's going to be part of like the shame of society, fucking government education. I don't think that's going to be a thing for a long time again. But so, you know, I don't know how it's all going to go down, but those things I think have got to go. The schools, the banks, the medical, all of those things crashing. And then the stuff with more of the solar flash and the firmament and the Anunnaki coming and all that stuff. But I just feel like it's getting so much closer. Like, that's why I keep thinking this can't drag out. Like, this Jubilee thing's got to happen. And like, I even saw where somebody is taking orders for hover cars now. It wasn't David Wilcock. I don't know who this guy was, but he's already putting out a thing and getting orders. And when I was thinking about the animals being ran over, I was thinking about like the hover cars, if they're going to be a lot more gentle to our society, so we're not just like, wow, well, let's kill everything in our path. And I was thinking, oh man, but then we're up there flying with the birds. Like, I wonder how this is going to go. Like, you know, maybe the hover cars stay lower from the birds. Birds slam into windows. I don't know. I like the Star Trek way of travel. Just go in the little tube or something and take yourself apart and then go somewhere else and put yourself back together. I think we just got to get to that kind of understanding of being able to control our hologram self, which no matter what, to me, the part that is alive about you is the part that's inside of you. It's not the part that you're outside of you that you're looking at. That's not the living part. That's not the live part. And that is why, like, your face, your looks, everything has to do with you. Like, it is a representation. It's a reflection. And it's like, well, if you feel sick or you hate yourself, you will show that in who you are. Like, we show who we are through, but who we are is really what is inside. In it, there is like so many masks and stuff that people put on, like makeup and all that stuff. My daughter and I were just talking about like the filters and stuff. They all keep doing these funny filters off of Snapchat of these aging, and then of guy ones. And I was talking about, boy, we all make some hot looking guys, don't we? And we were just talking about the filters and funny, and they do all these weird things or whatever. And I was saying, it's sad because there's so many moms, I think, who don't like their own faces now because of the filters, and that they, I don't think they're going to even have pictures of their kids where they're going to be able to show them what they looked like. And, I think some of these women, they are all caught up in this moment of like wanting to put out this like presentable, filter face, whatever, because they doubt their own looks, because they make it such a defined, only girls that look like Kim Kardashian are pretty or something, so the and everybody else, if you don't look like that, so they make it so small, and then they do these filters, so that you can look like that too. And I think that it makes people lose confidence in themselves. And I think they're going to be disappointed when they get older and they look back, and they're going to want to, think of like, what did I look like? What did I used to look like? And all they're going to see is filter face here, filter face there. But no, my daughter was agreeing. She's like, yeah, I never use the filters for, but yeah, people always, it's fun to do, to look at and see all the weird filters, that you can look at. But that's not, something to get hooked on, because you lose confidence in your own face, and your face is the face you got to go around in the world with. And your face represents how you feel about yourself. Like, and if you're all caught up and you don't feel good about yourself because you don't look like Kim Kardashian, then, it shows, and like an insecurity and stuff, So I think that, just like I was saying, like anger, all of these kinds of things, like if I look back on pictures, like I can see different things in my face, and like I had different attitudes towards different times in regards to my face. And I know there's different things about, like, if it wasn't like that, then, how is it that people are born and like they'll have a giant birthmark here, and then in a past life regression, they'll go and see like they were shot in the face and that whole side of their face was blown off. Like, there is a part of us that is being represented in the physical, but it isn't to go out and be presented into the world. It's a reflection to us, so we can see something that we are trying to understand about ourselves. So everything is for us to understand, but we get so much on this trying to put something out there so that people will like us. Because, in our heart and soul, we want to come together and, You know, we want to be a part of something, be a part of a community, be appreciated, be known, be loved, be cared for, you know, all these things that, you know, people desire, the connection to what, you know, the world. So anyways, I'm tired. I guess I'll probably just go ahead and download this. I don't know if I will have time to do one tomorrow. But I did, there was those few things I wanted to talk about with the lake and stuff, and I was just, I mean, it was like a lot more like in the conversation in my head with, you know, about just the importance of looking at the positive, putting that out there to somebody. Like, you can say something funny, you can say something snarky, you can say something silly, you can say something like, you've got a million choices of what you can say. But the best thing to do right now is just go back and just find yourself something positive and just keep looking at the positive. Just keep trying to see the positive. Focus on the positive. And then pretty soon, that's all I think you'll see is the positive. Like, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how this goes. Like, if there's like low vibration, things will just start to disappear from like our existence or something. I don't know. I'm tired and I'm probably talking a lot of nonsense. And tomorrow I think I'm gonna try and wash my daughter said she has some no shampoo. My other daughter said she had some too, but I don't know. Because then I always feel like, is that just gonna start if I put some kind of thing? But I just, every time when I go out and it gets like dusty and stuff, it's like, I just want to rinse it out. I feel like down on this part where it just starts feeling kind of dirty, or like you're trying to put your hands through it, it's like it's stuck. So anyways, but if I have time, or if anything happens or something, I don't know, maybe shit is going down, maybe shit's happening. I heard, I only saw like a couple of TikToks this morning, but I saw one saying that the fraud, he's got, they made like security, but to me, I was more like, it sounds like he's arrested, like he's on lockdown in his house. But I think he's probably not in that house. I think this is just part of the show. I think that guy was probably, you know, he was probably at the firing squad like last year or something. I think anytime that he is seen or shown, it's either a stand-in, some kind of double, or a clone, or just a CGI person. I think that guy's gone. But for them to be talking about him now and being like, oh, his house is surrounded, he's not allowed to leave, or like, but how they were like twisting like it was security, like protecting him from what? Protecting him from who? Because I think there's going to be a lot of shit that's about to come out on him. So, as there already has been so much, but there's still so many people who haven't seen all that part. So, there's going to be a lot more of that, a lot more people seeing it. So, I mean, that's just, to me, just bringing his name back out there, you know, get it back on, fresh on everybody's tongue. So, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Hopefully this week is still... Well, I don't want to keep being like, well, hopefully, because I'm not even at home. So it's going to happen when it's going to happen, exactly how it's going to happen, the way, I mean, it's all set in stone. You know, we can sit here and try, like I constantly, you know, it's going to happen now, and I'm watching everything. And, you know, there's a reason that we don't know when it's going to happen, how it's going to happen, or any of this stuff. It's supposed to be a sense of surprise or something, you know. Like I said before, there's probably supposed to be some heroes out there, and you know, you got to be a genuine hero. You can't see it coming, and you got to just go, you know, be ready be ready for action. Be ready to save somebody's life. So, anyways, we'll see. We'll see how it all goes. But I think things are. I can't. Fuck, I can't believe shit's got to go down this summer. No matter what, shit has got to be at the fucking right at the edge. So, I'm just gonna stay with that. I'm just gonna keep, unless we get to fucking October. When we get to goddamn October, I am gonna be like, God damn. I don't know. I'm probably just gonna have to. I don't even want to think about it. So I'm gonna set the expectation. Start with that and end with that. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Bye.